the record, and we will go ahead and start. Good evening, TSU family. I am Katrina Kerr, who currently serves as the 27th National Alumni President of TSUNAA. And I am proud for us to host a virtual meet and greet with our new head football coach, Coach Reggie Barlow. This is an opportunity for alumni have sent in questions, and this is an opportunity for us to get to know Coach, and we're excited about this upcoming football season. And so we just want to welcome you with open arms into the Big Blue family. And so also stay tuned for May 5th. There will be an announcement about season tickets. So now is the time for alumni to purchase season tickets for football. And also, if you're not able to attend the home, I'll mute you real quick. So if you are not able to make it to the home game, you don't have to let that ticket go to waste. Alumni can use the ticket athletic program, and the ticket office can transfer your season ticket to a Metro Nashville student so they can use your ticket. There also will be an incentive from the athletic department with alumni chapters that have the highest percentage in participation in buying season tickets. The top 5 chapters will be recognized that support and purchase season tickets. So I don't know if there's any chapter presidents on the call. So I put this challenge out to all the chapter presidents. Rally up your members and get them to purchase season tickets. And like I said, you can transfer those tickets if you're not able to attend. I will now turn it over to Rodney Elam, who will host the session with Coach Reggie Barlow. Thank you.
How you doing, everybody? I'm in my car right now. I'm playing place, but glad to welcome Coach Reggie Barlow. I'm give a few high notes about Alabama State grad, was drafted into the NFL. Coached at Alabama State, then coached at Virginia State, and also DC Defenders. This guy's a winner wherever he goes. This guy really loves football. And hopefully we get more of our alumni to also love football. So, I've heard this guy speak several different times on different platforms, and I tell you, I love football even more speaking with him. So Coach Reggie Barlow, welcome again.
Certainly, I appreciate that, man. Like I said, there's nothing like being a part of Big Blue. Excited about being a part of it. We know and understand the lineage of people who've come here, not just in athletics, but people who have walked this wonderful campus and have done great things in the United States. So extremely humbled by it and happy to be a part of it.
Great. So since the draft day just went by, what can you tell us about your draft day memories and how all that was on that great day?
Yeah, back in 1996 is when I got drafted. Back then it was only 2 days. It was the Saturday and Sunday. Obviously the 1st through 3rd went on Saturday and 4th through 7th went on Sunday. So I didn't get drafted on the first day, which was a bummer, but I knew that I could go between the 3rd and the 5th round. But anyway, it was a Sunday when I got drafted, sitting there with my mom, who is a church going lady. And she said, I really want to witness you get your name called on this TV, but if they don't draft you here in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to church, and you just gonna have to tell me about it. So she happened to see it. It literally got down to about maybe 20 minutes, and then I got the call from Doug Williams, who was a scout for the Jaguars at the time. So it was cool getting a call from him, a HBCU legend, first African-American Super Bowl champion. And that just started a friendship for he and I. And then, of course, just going to Jacksonville and being a part of a really good team for 5 years down there with Tom Coughlin and the rest of those guys.
So let's back up a little bit. When did you know football was for you? Like, you know, you may play multiple sports back in when you were younger. So when did you know football was for me?
Yeah, so baseball is my favorite sport. My brothers, it's 5 of us, and we grew up all playing baseball. That was our passion. That's what we really loved. I played baseball. That's how I got my scholarship for football. I was playing baseball, playing center field, and Houston Markham, our head coach at the time, the head coach at Alabama State, his son played on our baseball team at Lanier High School. I was playing center field. His son was the pitcher, and the other team was having a good day on him, hitting the ball everywhere. And I was center field, man. And I was having a good day of running them down. And he asked, like, who's that guy in center field? He's like, it's Reggie Barlow. Does he play football? And Coach Lamont Markham told him, say, yeah, he does play football. And that's how I got offered a scholarship. And, my passion for baseball stayed. But once I got to Alabama State and started having some success, having fun with football, it was something that I really prayed about. I was like, hey, God, you blessed me with this ability to play football, the skill set to play football, and I want to take it to the next level. And like, what are the things that I need to do to get to the next level? So vivid answer was given to me, and we started doing those things. And that's when we got broke the school record and got invited to the All-Star games, the combine, and all that stuff. So that's kind of like how it happened. And I would say probably around my junior year is when we felt like this might be something we'll be doing for the rest of our life.
So going from playing for several years, having a good career in NFL, what got you into coaching?
So I think one of the things that I've done as a player that really I think that's what kept me around for 8 years is like I knew multiple positions on the team, like what people are supposed to do, what they, what every receiver is supposed to do, the quarterback reads and that type of stuff. And my receiver coach, Richard Mann, when I played for the Buccaneers, he was like, Barlow, man, you ought to get into coaching when you get done. And I was like, man, I don't know about that. But he stayed on me about it. He was like, you really should look into it. And I gave it a try. I went and volunteered at my high school, sitting a little near high school in Montgomery. And Coach Moncrief, the guy, gave me a chance to be a coach. And I didn't like it at first. Right. I thought I didn't realize the hours that the coaches spend. I thought that was a little overrated. But then I had that passion for developing young men and pouring into the young guys, and got a passion for it. And then I ended up getting an assistant job at Alabama State, and then it just went from there.
Great. So what are some things I know? Every place you've gone, you've won. You reached the mountaintop, correct, and done well, turning programs around, or even establishing great things. What are some keys to maintain that? What are some of your philosophies for that?
The first thing is you have to populate yourself with good people. It's about the people, and we let our coaches know and our players know that the buildings are just the buildings. Those places are bricks and mortar, all these wonderful buildings we have, but it's the personal relationships that these young men will remember when it's all said and done. So we start off by populating ourselves with good people that care about investing in people. And you can't be in the people business if you don't like people. And then, of course, you hear me say it all the time. Do you like football? And we don't want people that like football. We want people who love football. And we talk about how do you spell love? Well, TIME, because of things that we love, we're willing to spend time with. So we're talking about populating yourself with people who are passionate about the game. Obviously, you got to have good teachers, guys, coaches that can teach and get the message over to the players. They have to be knowledgeable of football and all that stuff. So I think having a good staff, we've been blessed to be able to evaluate talent and develop talent. The other thing is the development part, that we've been able to develop guys that came to our school at 6'6", 6'5", might have been light, 250 pounds. We developed them mentally, physically, spiritually. And a guy gets up to 280, 295, and then get drafted. That was Jalen Ware. Titus Howard was the same way, an old lineman that came to Alabama State. He came as a tight end. We said, hey, we're going to put you at tackle for practice to help us out. He started doing a good job. At the time, his weight wasn't what it's supposed to be. He was a 6'4", 6'5" guy, maybe 250. Same way, just develop him, got him on the right eating program. He put on the weight, lifted, and then the technique and fundamental stuff. And he ended up being a first-round draft pick from Alabama State. So, it's about populate yourself with the right people, good evaluators, people who are passionate about football, passionate about people. And then we have this acronym thing that we use. We call it the DASH, DASHH. And we just believe every team that we have, the 5 core characteristics of having a good team, it starts with discipline, doing what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to do it, having a positive and conquering attitude, because there will be another A, and that's adversity. So how you handle adversity and how you get through it. The S is in the dash is for sacrifice. We want guys that's going to be willing to sacrifice for the sake of the team, sake of the university, sake of the community. And then the first H is habits. Our habits have to be aligned with our expectations. And then, of course, the last H is, what's your heart like? Do you care about people? Do you care about team? Do you care about TSU? Do you care about the community? So those 5 core characteristics is what we'll live by. We always, we say often, live the dash. And we'll make sure that that becomes a part of the fiber of our teams. And I think the places that we've been, we've installed that and we've talked about it. The coaches do a good job of Paul revering that message and any other message that I may have. And it gets down to the guys' fiber and they start living like it.
Right, and I've seen a lot of comments that you had, the interviews you had. You should have mentioned that. So I would like you all to start selling a TSU Dashville shirt.
Yeah.
Because I definitely will buy that. That'd be nice to have. Or do you love football? So Julius McNair's online. Was go ahead and get that together for us, put those up so we can start get a good fundraiser going.
That's right.
Another question. I know last time you coached college football to now, a lot of things have changed. What was money may have been exchanged before, but now it's all legal. Some things happened before. So how have you adjusted thus far with the new recruitment and the portal being as it is? How have you guys adjusted with all that?
Yeah, I mean, it's it just became a name, the transfer portal. But for a guy like myself and coaches that have coached with us, when I was at Alabama State, we was getting transfers back then, but it was just not called a transfer portal. It was guys that were playing FBS football, D1 football, that wouldn't get a chance to play and wanted to move down a level to get playing time. So we've always been doing that. We did it at Virginia State. The thing that's different now is guys can leave and not have to sit out, right? So that's a different rule. But the league that we're just coming from, the pro league, honestly, it's exactly what's going on here. Every year we play in the DC Defenders, and there's going to be 25 to 30 guys that leave the team. You may have 5 to 8 that go to the NFL. You may have another 5 to 8 that just want to give it up because they've gotten a little older. We try to stay around that 28 and under age for our teams. And then you have the guys that you just want to move away from anyway because they wasn't cutting it. So that what we're doing now is the same plan that we were doing when we were in the UFL. And that's basically losing some guys, finding some guys that fit your system, and developing those guys to be on your team. And, we were able to do that our first year. We started with no team, no roster, just myself as the GM and the head coach and Coach Vaughn. And then we added the coaches and we built the team. And it's the same way now. Those guys are having a good season. They're 4-1. Although it can be a little overwhelming because of the guys leaving and the amount of guys leaving, and some leaving for money, but then some are leaving and have no clue, and they end up in the portal, and that's where they end up staying. So that's pretty unfortunate for a bunch of young men that get stuck in there. So, but we're going to manage, man. It's we know it could be a challenge, especially when you develop a guy, and then of course they leave for FBS school, and and for the money. All right. So we just have to accept that that's part of it and be better and not bitter over it, and just continue to get guys that want to be here.
Another question that we've gotten. So why TSU? And also, like, why now? Why transition away from UFL? You had a great thing going. I live in the DMV area, so I know
Yeah,
what you guys are doing. I see Shannon now is
right.
getting great publicity and what he's doing there too as well. But why did you leave UFL and why come to TSU?
Yeah, so I had a conversation with another coach, and I've had opportunity to go and coach at HBCU since I've been with the DC Defenders. And I told him this was probably 3 to 5 years ago that the only job that college job, HBCU, that I'd go and coach at was Tennessee State. Um, and that was without me knowing what a great city Nashville is. Um, that I knew history and tradition was something that was important to me. The plan in the OVC was that's different than your typical HBCUs where you're not playing in an HBCU conference, but you still have the ability to play HBCU. So that was attractive. And then, man, just Big Blue. I heard about it so much. My high school wide receiver, Steve Holloway. I mean, my high school receiver coach. He played here, and he used to preach Big Blue in my head all the time. Big Blue, you going to Tennessee State? You going to Tennessee State? And obviously, he couldn't get Tennessee State to recruit me, so I ended up at Alabama State. But so I had a working knowledge of that, and then of course Shannon and Kais, Russ, and all the guys that's been a part of Tennessee State. They've always told me what a great place this was. But being here, for a little over a month now, I couldn't have never believed like the history, the tradition, the amount of guys that walked this campus that went and have gone in the NFL, drafted Super Bowl champions. I mean, that wall out there with the amount of people that played pro ball, that played in Super Bowls, that's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it blows me away. Like it gives me chill to even think about it. And then the other sports, with basketball and the track that's over in Hell Stadium that no Wilma Rudolph ran on that track. I mean, I love history and I have an appreciation for it, especially the people that came before. So, I mean, Tennessee State was a no-brainer. I think if I was a little older, the UFL is perfect for Bob Stoops and those other coaches, Wade Phillips. They've done it.
Yeah.
And I'm not that age. I'm not their age. No. So if I was older, it would have been just ideal. But I wanted to be back in fall football, and I wanted to be at a really good college. And man, God bless us with that.
Great to hear. We're glad to have you on board. I was really excited when I heard you were going to be the coach. I know about your history and what you were doing, so I'm definitely excited about seeing how things move forward. Can you tell us a little bit about your coaches you want to bring in? You signed one of your old classmates, Cedric Thornton.
Yeah.
He signed on, and then you have the defensive coordinator. I can't remember his first, McGinnis. Is that correct?
Who's that? The defensive coordinator?
Yes, he signed on. Yeah.
So Seth Thornton is one of our coaches. He'll be coaching linebackers. Seth is a longtime defensive coordinator. He's been a head coach in high school. He and I were teammates at Alabama State. We both went to the Jaguars the same year, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and been a longtime friend and coached with us before as our coordinator at Alabama State. Greg Williams is our defensive coordinator.
Greg Williams. Where did that from? Greg Williams.
Yeah. So Greg Williams was the Tennessee Titans defensive coordinator for many years. Years when they went to the Super Bowl. I think the Rams they played. So we played against him a whole bunch, always admired him. And then finally we got to coach together in DC. And he was like, man, I want to go, right? I want to come with you. Mm-hmm. So I was happy that he wanted to be a part of come to college. He's lived in Nashville before, have a lot of connections here. So he's here. My man, Russ Arnfield is helping us out right now. But when the season is over for Shannon and Kais, those guys will be coming this way as well. So Shannon will be the quarterback coach. Kais will be the offensive coordinator. And then we got a few other guys. Jared Cruzy, he's a longtime NFL coach. He'll be coaching with us. Dexter Jackson, who was the MVP of the Super Bowl in Tampa, he's going to be our safeties coach. He'll be here. So a lot of those guys are in transition and getting here. So we're manning it down right now. Myself, Greg Thornton, and Meshack is here, who was here on the last staff and is also a Tennessee State grad.
So one question we have from the body was, how can we get names to you that they maybe potential TSU players? Like, what's the best way to reach out to you all to notify you guys?
Right. So like guys that may want to come play at TSU, guys that you guys think, So I know for once every coach is here, we'll all have Twitter handles. Mine is Reggie Barlow. There's already been people who've reached out to me about players that are Tennessee State grads, and I've engaged with them to say, I've looked at that guy, or no, I hadn't looked at him. Thanks for sending it. So that would be like the best way would be through our social media handle, and which would be Twitter for most of us. I know I'm on Instagram, and guys hit me up on Instagram as well about players. But that would be the best way. And then the recruiting coordinator, would definitely be a direct contact. And then if you got personal relationships with guys like Shannon or Kais, or those guys since they've been here a while, I mean, reaching out to them also would be a way to get some names out to those guys, especially if you think the guy can play whatever position. Because you guys are all over the state. We're here in Nashville. We'll try to touch as many counties that we can here in the state, and then of course we'll all have our out-of-state areas that we'll go to. But it's not like having alumni that can send us people that they think fits the bill and can play for Big Blue.
How many players do you think you need to recruit? I know people left and going. Do you know, like, numbers wise? The House legislation coming on. Do you know how many players you actually looking to grab right now?
Yeah. So I really just hearing the stories before I got here, I was scared we was gonna only have maybe 30 players in spring. And I was like, man, but it was actually 63-ish guys out in spring ball. That I'm proud of the guys that we were able to at least have some form of a spring, considering I just got here. But they've done a good job. They've been mature in what they've done, which takes pride. But we definitely have to rebuild the roster in terms of depth, in terms of having the right numbers in the right positions. The NCAA allows you to have 105 guys in camp. It'd be great to get close to that number because you do want to leave some space for walk-on tryouts and that type of stuff. But we're looking to get it up to at least 95 guys for camp, and then leave some space for guys that may fall through the crack later on. There are some really good high school players here in the state that, I mean, it's tough for a high school player right now.
Yeah.
It is really tough, and it's unfortunate because it's so easy to go and get you a transfer. So the goal would be to get up to 95 guys. The coaches that are here now have done a good job. Every week there's been new guys coming through here. We have 8 coming here tomorrow. Some of those guys, Rodney, we got to have some plug and play guys, and then we got to recruit for depth. This guy may not start for you, but he needs to be able to be a guy that can play and give you serviceable game time reps. So just a good mixture of that. Prior to us getting here, Coach George and his staff had signed maybe about 10 to 12 guys. Many of them was on partials or academics. So we'll throw them in the fold as well, and we'll get these new guys here. It had to get quarterbacks because the quarterback last year was a senior, and then the other kid got in the portal. So yeah, and we really want to have a really good QB competition. We're wanting to have at least 6 or 7 quarterbacks in camp, so we can really evaluate them and allow the best guy to win.
Mm-hmm. So when signing happens now, because that's one thing I'm confused about. You can get in the portal. When do you have to actually sign? I know you can commit. So I'm committed to this school. When's the actual signing day for that? Is it is the time they have to commit and say I'm on this team, or
Yeah. So the unfortunate part is there's not a time, and that's how guys find themselves still in the portal because guys are waiting around, and it's they're waiting around. Say if they have Tennessee State or Tennessee Tech, Austin P. They may still be waiting around. Just maybe I might get a FBS, a MAC school, or a Conference USA to come in and grab us, and that's when they end up getting stuck. Because what happened is if we say we want to have 6 quarterbacks, all 6 won't be scholarship. 4 of them will be scholarship guys, and then we'll have 2. But if we find our 4 scholarship guys and you're a quarterback, then we don't have a spot for you, and that happens at other teams as well. That's the unfortunate part that you don't have a deadline to say, hey, you need to be signed, or you have to be signed by this day, or you stay in the portal for this season. Like if they said something like that, that would help out everybody because now guys have to make a decision. They can't wait around to the last minute in July and be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna sign with you. So,
okay. Tim Summers had a question. He said, "How many players were returning?" You sort of answered that a little bit. Yeah, 63.
Yes. Yeah. Tim, thanks for that question. Thanks for hopping on here.
Hold on. The question was of the guys that entered the portal. Are you going to go back and grab those guys out? Any of those coming back?
Right. So when we first got here, the first the first order of operation was to go and recruit the guys that's in the portal, and to really recruit them, have an intimate conversation, face to face. Let's talk. Let's figure out why you're leaving, where you going. Do you have a plan? Many of them I was able to meet with. There was a few that I never saw. I just saw one today, and I think the right gesture was, hey, if you got in the portal when the coach left, I won't hold out against you because it was uncertainty and you didn't know. But now you know, and we've been here for a month, and you still haven't said whether or not you're going to come. So at some point, we do have to, respect their decision, and then we do have to take care of the best thing for our football program, and that's adding other players. So there's been one guy that came back that contributed last year, that was in the portal, and he came back and said that he wanted to come back. So we allowed to allow him to come back because we're not here to take their dreams away. But it's at some point, it's like, man, you can't keep us. I give you just a generic example. Let's just say the tight end position, and we know that position is a dinosaur. Most people don't really use it, but say we had 6 tight ends in camp, and if the guy never came back and say, hey, I want to be a part of the team, and then we get our 6 guys that we say, okay, here's the 6 guys that we've had a guy commit to us, and then we have these set of tight ends. Well, we don't have that spot no more, and that's the unfortunate part about the portal, because once we make a commitment to these guys and say they can come, then we don't want to go back on that and say they can't come. Once we've already offered them a scholarship, and I'm talking new guys, so that's the hang up on that part. Long answer for you.
Okay, thank you. Just a side note, your cousin, I think his name is Kendrick, or Kendrick Barlow. Does that name ring a bell to you?
Yeah, I claim all those Barlows.
Okay, well, I think he told me he's from Alabama. He told me he was related to you. He was my son's athletic director.
Oh yeah,
at Hateville Charter in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that name rings a bell to you.
Well, the name does in the area. Obviously, they have a lot of schools and a lot of good athletes up in Atlanta as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Thanks, Tim. Let's talk about the football schedule. And I know you saw the schedule. I guess you said that we still sign on, but it's a tough schedule coming in.
Yeah.
Off with A&T, they've struggled, but playing Alabama A&M, North Dakota State, #1 in the country last year. So, what were your thoughts about the overall schedule and the competitors of the OVC? You mentioned that earlier.
All right. Yeah, when people talk about schedule, we just say Tennessee State by 10, man. Put the ball down. But I am I'm not gonna say I'm a one-track mind guy, but the most important part for me was obviously reaching out to the guys in the portal, thanking those coaches that stayed back after Eddie George had left. That's a tough thing. And then of course trying to recruit more players. And the schedule part of it, because it's so far away, I really hadn't spent a whole lot of time just, I've heard the teams that we do play, and I think it'll be a time where we really dive in. And I've always been like that in terms of the schedule. Matter of fact, everywhere that we've coached, the schedule usually say target 1, target 2, target 3, target 4, target 5, because it's about Tennessee State and not so much about the target. And then once we get to that week of 10 to 12 days out, obviously we'll dive in and have a good study on those teams to have ourselves prepared for them. So we know it's a challenging one. A lot of good teams that you're going to play against. The OVC has its own challenges, and but it's always cool to see how you measure up against top-notch talent. We obviously know what North Dakota State, what they offer every year, and it'll give our guys a chance to play against them like last year. The game will be here in Nashville. I think it's really cool that, like I mentioned earlier, with us being an HBCU, we still get to have that liberty to play HBCU schools like a North Carolina A&T, like a Alabama A&M. So, it should be fun getting a chance to compete against those guys.
Dusty Walker had a question about your defensive philosophy. Someone asked also about, another person asked about offensive philosophy. So you can give an idea of what kind of strategy you're going to use.
Yeah.
In terms of, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is just generic, right? Because your offensive scheme and your defensive scheme can't be your scheme unless you got the people to play the scheme. Sure. And if you don't have the people to play it, then you got to adjust your scheme. So, but just on a generic base on what we like to do offensively, it'll be up tempo, inside zone, outside zone, what we call gap scheme plays, like your counters and that type of stuff. RPOs, a lot of that stuff that's going on now. But one of the things when you hear spread and you hear inside zone, and a lot of people don't think you run the ball, but we've led the league in rushing just about everywhere that I've been as a head coach. Our offense have. So we're going to establish the run. We're going to be a physical running team, and we're going to stretch them. Why we're going to run at them. Of course, we'll take our shots and all that stuff, but offensively, it'll be diverse. We'll do a lot of stuff, a lot of creative stuff. Kais and Shannon, they do a good job, man, of mixing it up. They work really good together. So that's what we'll look like on offense. Defense, it's a shell of what we call a 4-2-5. Obviously, our base will be 4 down linemen. We'll have 2 traditional linebackers, your Mike and Sam, but our weak side linebacker, our striker, will be a guy that's built more like a safety, but has a linebacker mindset in terms he can play in the box, he can cover, he can do that. So that's what that guy will look like. We've called him striker. We've called him a lot of different things. So, and then on the back end and coverage, I mentioned is Greg Williams. So you'll see a lot of stuff. You'll see single high. You'll see single high zone coverage. You'll see single high man coverage. You'll see a lot of pressure. The quarterback would not be able to stand in the pocket and pat the ball. That won't happen with us. Either we're going to get to him from our 4 guys that can rush him, or we're going to bring 6 guys and make him get rid of the ball. So they won't be able to do that against us. We will apply pressure. That's just something that we're going to do on defense. And obviously what we have from a up front defensive line, our goal is to have nice sized guys in there, and we also can control that through scheme. I mean, we can stunt the front, we can do all type of stuff to make it a little bit difficult for people to be able to run the ball on us as well.
Okay. Dusty had a technical question. Is a striker similar to a rover? Or you said it was the same?
Yeah, they're one and the same. Everybody, the only thing sometimes it just depends on like the body type. Some people want their rover to be more of a box dude or whatever from a body standpoint. But for us, we like that guy to be a long guy, 6'2", 6'1.5", 6'2.5". Obviously can run, can cover. Also blitz. We blitz that guy a lot too. So yeah, that's what that'll look like.
Another question we had, so we talked about recruiting, we talked about this philosophy, strategy. Someone mentioned, I think Julius hopping on this too as well. What does the future HBCU schedule look like? Someone said, how many more HBCUs will play? So, you talk to the AD about that going forward.
Yeah, well, they mentioned it to me when I was going through the process with the job, and that's something that they really want to do. The out of conference games to play HBCU schools, and I'm hoping that that happens. Since I've gotten this job, I've had a few HBCUs that have reached out like, hey, can you talk with your AD? Alabama State being one of them. Obviously, that's my alma mater. Those guys have already put something together where it's like Labor Day in Alabama and then in Nashville, and kind of just go back and forth with it. But so they already have some thoughts that they've reached out about. The guy at Morgan State. So there's been a few, even Virginia State people have reached out about games, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to play some more HBCUs as we go. I think it's important to me to be able to do that. Just that whole environment, that atmosphere, and when you're competing against HBCU.
So 8 home games next year. That's the most I think we've ever had going into it. So hopefully we can get prepared. I know Julius mentioned the May you're supposed to send out the information about the tickets, but hopefully get a good drive for everyone so we can get out there and show up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really important thing. Man, obviously appreciate everybody being on here. That's so important. The season ticket part, that's the real thing that we all need to make sure. I'm getting season tickets myself, and I know I will get free tickets. I've always done that. And whether I use them for family or friends or whatever, I think it's a shameful ask for me to ask you guys and beg you guys to do that, and I don't do it as the head coach. That's one of the things that I at least want to get all of our coaching staff to do. Even if you buy one or you buy two, is to be season ticket holder. And I'm going to do it. And we want our fans, our alums, to really, really dive deep and do that this year. I go to Alabama. I went to Alabama State. I buy season tickets for them, and I'm not there, right? So I give them to somebody, or give them to my daughter, and they use them. But it's going to be important for us to have a good season tickets sales. The May 5th date, we should really be setting the standard for what we want it to be like every year when we come out with our season tickets on. This year we have this number, and then next year let's beat it by 2 or beat it by 5 or beat it by whatever. But and then it's just so important, like when the guys, they practice all week and they've done their thing, and when they run out of the locker room, they want to see Big Blue. They want to see fans. They want to see alums. They want to see people who are passionate about athletics here, obviously supporting the program here and that type of stuff. And we make sure the players know, like, the football experience is good for them, but the game day experience is for our fans and for our alums and for people who laid the foundation for us. So we want to go out and put on a great performance for them and play hard for them. So definitely want everybody that's on here to be a part and get season tickets, but more importantly, go and recruit and tell other people, right? Send them like the text message of your tickets and say, I got mine. What are you gonna do about getting yours? Send me a text message like this when you get yours, and then just keep it going, So make it a competition, right? We all like to compete, and if you know people that's in Nashville, if you know people that's in surrounding areas here, that's driving and they can get here, like, it'll be a good thing to have them be a part, and people start coming back to the games or having more people at the game. So I think that's important.
So Tanya Morton, she TSU alum local to Nashville. She's going to go. He said she got to see tickets already. She's ready to go. Need some more friends.
Yeah, she ready to go ahead and snapshot it and send it to a group text of friends. Like, I got mine. Now, what are you guys gonna do?
Yeah. So what are your short-term and long-term goals for the program? It's difficult, players leaving, you coming in sort of late, but what's the short-term, long-term goals for the program?
Well, the short-term goal is to get a roster that we feel comfortable with in terms of bringing a camp, going to camp, and trying to go into a season with. That's the short-term goal for that, and getting a group of guys here for the summer to train. That's going to be important because we haven't had all the coaches here. All the coaches will be here in June, and just being able to have a good number of guys, the core guys here this summer, we'll get a chance to do some stuff with them on the field. 8 hours a week the NCAA gives us. So that'll be, short-term goals, and just building a team that's going to be, US, united over self, that you are united, we are united as a team, and just getting everybody on the same page. I really like it. I mean, that's what I liked about the league, is you get all these guys, and now you got to put them on the same page and get them to think alike, and to learn the Big Blue language, the Tennessee State language, and speak it where they can finish our sentences when we're talking to them. So that'll be the short-term thing, getting everybody on the same page, getting the right roster, group of guys here, feel good about the coaching staff that we have. And then, long-term goals is to establish ourselves as like perennial champions here, and not just winning the OVC, but getting a chance to go and play in the playoffs and making a run in that. So that's the long-term goal. Graduating these kids, let them know that whatever it is that they want to achieve, they don't have to leave Tennessee State. They can achieve it right here at Tennessee State, whether that's a great education, whether that's meeting your wife or your husband, whether it's playing football and getting a chance to go to the NFL, getting, awesome internships and all that type of stuff. Like, we're connected to be able to get them just about anything that they would want. So, those things are the goals that we want to have for us right now.
Somebody asked a question about Julius posted in the chat about May 5th. Somebody had another question about C6 when they're available. He gave the phone number. Can you type it again, Julius? Because I missed the phone number. It's 615. No, the last four are Roar. I can't remember the 27. That's the number to call, 615-963-7627. Julius will take care of you to process several season tickets right there on the spot for you.
Right on.
Yeah. Hold my list up real quick. What kind of characteristics are you looking for with your players? Like you want to go, we send you tape and you say, okay, looks good. So what characteristics are you looking for recruiting guys?
Yeah, so outside of skill set stuff, I mean, it goes back to, do they live the dash? Are they disciplined? Do they have positive attitude? Are they good teammates and that type of stuff? So that part of it. But then when you talk about skill set, ideally you have everything for every position, what you like, height, weight, size, and the abilities that you want for those positions. You take running back. Your typical guy we like to have is a 5'10" guy. Uh, 90, 95 pounds to 210. We can take guys shorter than that, 5'8" guys, because you want to have a good mixture of your power back guy that's kind of your starter that can do everything. But then you want, your scat back guys that you can motion using in the passing game as well. And but skill set stuff, man, is guys that could put their foot in the ground and get vertical on outside zones and that type of stuff. But we want tough guys. We want guys that love football, that are passionate about football, that show that they are passionate about football. We want them to be tough because we will be a tough team. We will be a tough team. We want guys that's not afraid to work because we're going to work. The tempo of our practices will be something that these guys probably hadn't seen in terms of offense, defense, and special teams practice. So coaching them up and getting them to that. But guys that's passionate about football, that love football, that's going to put in the work, not going to hide from work. Obviously, disciplined guys. So all of those things that we like. And then Fred Keiss, who's going to be the offensive coordinator, and Greg, they'll have all the other characteristics that they want their guys to look like and be like when they step into the white lines.
The one more question that I'm gonna open up to anybody else because it's 8:25. At the school, you talk to the president and AD about NIL or the Republic people, what's the strategy going forward? How the university going to address NIL?
Yeah, so there's a conversation. Obviously, Julius probably can speak on that as well, but there are some initiatives that we are starting to get NIL or collective, if you will, try to get collectives so we could have money to be able to bless these young men with while they are here to our level, right? We don't have to do it and compete at nobody else's level, but it's just something that we could do to show our appreciation to them. And that's really what a lot of these guys, we want, just something. And whatever that is that we could wrap our minds around to start at a number of what we have in the pool to be able to give to our student athletes. The name, image, and likeness thing, like the misunderstanding of that, like everybody is not getting name, image, and likeness. Because you got to be a productive player that's performing at a nice level to get money for your name, image, and likeness. But the collective is the money that's given by said group in this pool, and then the athletic department, coaches can give that money out according to however their scale is on what they give top rusher or top quarterback. I mean, the quarterback position or the D tackle position or that type, the right tackle or left tackle position. So those are all things but there has been conversation about it. And we're hoping like here soon, alumni, people of the community and everybody else will be able to give to the Eye of the Tiger. And Julian, you can speak on it if you want. I know it's Eye of the Tiger. NIL or Eye of the Tiger Collective?
Yeah, it'll be Eye of the Tiger Collective. We working on some stuff again, like Coach Barlow mentioned. We're working some stuff internally, and hopefully before July we'll have it set up where we're able to send out text codes or send links for you all to kind of contribute or share with your peers and helping Coach Barlow not only build the collective but build a roster in a healthy way. So. Eye of the Tiger Collective is what it'll be called.
Yes, sir. Thanks for that.
Floor out to any more questions. We have 3 minutes left. Anybody want to hop in and just say anything? I'm gonna go review the chat just in case I miss any questions. Okay, I didn't hear anybody hop up. People in the chat are saying they're excited about what's going on. They love learning about your vision for the program. Looking forward to supporting the program. Katrina, I'm gonna call you back up to take us home.
Good evening again, everyone. I just want to remind you all that May 5th will be an email sent out. The announcement is out about season tickets. So please support. And if there are any chapter presidents on, there is a challenge to the chapters. Athletics will acknowledge the top 5 chapters that have the most participation in their chapter of alums who purchase season tickets. And if you are not able to attend the game, you can also transfer the ticket and it will go to a Metro Nashville student. So your ticket will not go to waste. Just make sure you give it to a student who can attend the game and have fun. So I'm looking forward to see who these top 5 chapters will be, to get some swag from the athletics department. So I highly encourage everybody on this call to purchase a season ticket. Purchase 2 if you have to, 3, gift them if you want to, but please support our football team and purchase your season tickets. And that's all I have for this evening. And I want to thank you all for coming and welcome to TSU, Coach Barlow.
Thank you.
You're
Excited.
welcome.
Appreciate it. Go Big Blue.
That's right. Go Big Blue. All right. Everybody have a good evening. All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.